Hello, and thank you for joining us for the first of the Pando Days 24-25 project premieres. My name is Eugene Shirley, president of Pando Populous and co-host of the Pando Days premiere events with my dear friend and collaborator, Matthew Manos. He and I'll trade off over the coming weeks in this role. Pando Days is the program that makes it easy for young people to make something happen for the world and for their communities. I'm excited to be with you because today we'll get to see for the first time what the Pando Days 24-25 project season teams have been up to. Each team is given 15 minutes to present summaries of their projects, followed by 20 to 30 minutes Q&A from a panel of experts. These premiere events are recorded, and in early 2025, the recordings, along with all project materials, will be posted on each team's dedicated webpage to be found on the pandopopulous.com website. Projects are then judged by a distinguished panel of specialists with honors and prizes and networking opportunities at the Pando Awards in April. That's April 27 for the Pando Awards. Go ahead and mark it on your calendars. So let's get started. Today we'll be hearing from the Cal Poly Pomona team, led by Lorena Garcia, and the project title is wonderful. It sounds so welcoming. Gathering around the Lyles Center. The Lyles Center, for those of you who don't know, is a beautiful sustainability center on campus. I'm sure we'll be hearing much more about. The project targets young people and develops out themes of urban wildlife, biodiversity, habitat, and conservation using public education and sculpture with a web tie-in and support. It sounds really interesting. I'm eager to hear all about it. Lorena and team, over to you.
Hi, everyone. How are you? Thank you so much, Eugene. Thank you also to Alexi and to Lynn for the support during the whole semester. It is a big pleasure to be here. I'm going to start to share my screen with the presentation. Let me see if you can see it well. Can you see it? Oh, sorry. Okay. Can you see it well now? Yes. So, short introduction, my name is Lorena Garcia, and I'm assistant professor in the Department of Landscape Architecture at the College of Environmental Design in Cal Poly Pomona. Today, we have the opportunity to present a selection of projects from 120 students who are part of the second year undergraduate studio lab. These projects represent a culmination of inspiring and creative work that the students have been passionately developing over the past month. I'm incredibly proud of their hard work and dedications. While we are highlighting the work of 14 brilliant students today, I want to extend my congratulations and thanks to all of them for their commitment and perseverance through this project. I hope that you enjoy the presentation.
Hi everybody, my name is Hannah, and I'm so grateful to be a Pando Day student representative from Cal Poly Pomona, where environmental design students such as myself often get to reference the Lyell Center for Regenerative Studies in our work. This site, which has been historically used for cattle grazing and as a landfill, has been thriving as a living laboratory for environmental education since 1994. John T. Lyell was a Cal Poly Pomona professor and a landscape architect who envisioned a community which values renewable resources and sustainable ways of living. In this presentation, you will see the ways in which students are inspired by the principles instilled by John T. Lyell to create designs which emphasize the harmony between people and nature.
Over the course of the semester, we have been working to display integrative design proposals in response to the research and analysis of our site, the Lyell Center. In our various projects, we have put forward schematic designs that work to benefit the Lyell Center while maintaining its core values and principles of regenerative design. My name is Corinne Alexander, and this is my project, Regenerative Design for Everyone. The goal of this project was to create a space that fosters a sense of community for people with diverse backgrounds. Some of the guiding principles include accessibility, retreat, inclusivity, and education. These designs were implemented by incorporating increased transportation means, additional ramps, a relaxing garden, an ADA accessible lookout point, as well as an outdoor amphitheater. The following designs exhibit the core values of the Lyle Center in interpretive design to bring about a tailored and holistic artifact to create a connection between the site and its users. The goal for this project was to create an interactive, immersive, and intriguing space catered to children 12 years and younger. Throughout the past few weeks, the participants have worked to create a contextually sensitive and engaging schematic design to reimagine the Lyle Center in a way that preserves the core values, principles, and goals of the site and employs design principles such as scale, equity, and experience.
Hi everyone, my name is Fatima, and this is my project I titled it We the Prey. So my project is an art installation that plays with the perspective of humans and spiders by switching the scale between them. Often we hear that we shouldn't be scared of these creatures because they're probably more scared of us. To them, we are the predators. So using this 20-foot tall art piece that covers a cage, I wish to show people what it would feel like to be the prey and be captured by these giant creatures, to see them the way they see us. The sculpture will focus on aesthetic beauty, but also be accessible to anyone, as the cage will be flushed to the ground and be placed at the end of an existing path that ends abruptly and continues further down, also serving as a transition piece that encourages people to stop and take in the sculpture in its environment. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Eric Rodriguez, and the title of my project is called Echoes of the Wetlands. For this project, I envisioned creating a sensory garden that immerses children in the unique beauty and ecological significance of wetland ecosystems. This approach not only enhances the connection to nature, but also helps them to develop a greater appreciation for the importance of wetlands in sustaining biodiversity, water equality, and climate regulation. The design of the wetland sensory garden is strategically organized into distinct pathways, each inspired by different wetland animals with the goal of sparking curiosity and fostering a deeper understanding of the diverse wildlife that inhabit these ecosystems. The main feature of the garden is a monument at the center designed to represent a blue heron in its natural wetland ecosystem. The monument will highlight intricate relationships between the heron and its environment, fostering appreciation for the biodiversity and ecological balance that wetlands support. For my photo montage, I blended in the Lyle Center with the natural beauty of the wetland ecosystem to give a distinct narrative of what the two ecosystems could look if they were merged together. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle Haig, and this is my project, which I call the Ecoscape Gazebo. This first slide shows the inspiration collage that I made at the beginning of the project. On this second slide is where the gazebo would be located at the Lyle Center. And next, I have technical drawings with key design elements highlighted. The most important element is the mosaic detail seats and table, which depict the flora and fauna of the Lyle Center, as well as past and present human use, which fully represents the nature of the site. The seating is also sized to accommodate children, and the use of hexagons is a nod to honeycomb, and pollinators. The gazebo silhouette is inspired by living structures which were used by Gabrielino and Tongva native peoples. This final slide shows the physical model of my design and what it would look like if it was actually built into the landscape. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Michaela Magashanis and I designed the compost tumbler. Located near a pond at the Lyle Center, my collage shows the initial design stage. The canoe provides a multi-sensory experience, allowing children to explore composting, soil regeneration, Native American history, and the value of friendship and community. A transportable educational structure that can travel to schools and more. This project is inspired by my short story, Lupin in the Magic Forest, Saving the Soil. Measuring 20 by 5 feet, the structure features a sensory floor inspired by a forest mulch. The compost tumbler provides signage educating children on how composting works, its importance, and the different types of compost. The tumbler spins, offering hands-on learning. At the ends of the structure are sand pits with oars that double as shovels, immersing children in the canoe experience. The walls display signage showcasing Lupin and the Magic Forest and the history of the Gabrielino Tongva people who use tiots or canoes. The compost canoe offers a transportable, immersive learning experience, displaying the importance of history, sustainability, and community. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn about our designs.
Hello, my name is Janet Cruz, and this is my project Flutter Haven, the Butterfly Garden Viewpoint. It is located at the Lyle Center towards the back of the site at a higher elevation. My collage consisted of snail shells, which influenced my idea of focusing my project on an animal setting, and these are my model images. From my technical drawings, it shows how the structure is a 10 feet tall and 9-foot wide structure with materials of bamboo, and it has net seating for children and adults to lay or sit on and see this ecosystem. Some of the Lyle Center focuses include animal systems and natural settings. My project is a butterfly ecosystem with native plants that attract pollinators that shows how animal settings and natural settings coexist.
Hi everyone, my name's Nikki Just. This project titled Fostering Curiosity Through the Five Senses is a sensory garden where children can explore the Lyle Center and learn about the ecological and sustainable systems that they practice. Through embodied learning, this project invites children to explore ecology through hands-on experiences and creates a gateway for further learning and a commitment to stewardship. This is accomplished through the sensory garden, where touch is engaged through a centrally located observation station shown on the left, auditory elements in the walnut grove, which is shown in the middle, and a bridge spanning over a creek bed that encourages tactile play on the right. And here's my montage that shows the tactile bridge and the collage that I composed as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Evangelista, and my project, the Heron Pavilion, is located in front of the pond beside the residential buildings. It is an outdoor classroom that serves as a space to teach about sustainable uses of water. Benches are set in place surrounding each side of the pool that allow you to face the pool or look out towards the ponds. You can catch a glimpse of a great blue heron feeding in these ponds. The location of the pavilion can be used as a hangout area for residents, seating to seek shelter from the sun, or for educational teachings. The shape of the roof is inspired by a great blue heron in flight. The downward slope of the wings gives the appearance of water cascading down the rain chain on sunny days. The dry pool filled with rocks mimics a pool filled with water. Viewers can observe and hear the water rushing across the roof, down the rain chain, that then pools down the center of the pavilion. The Lyle Center's focus of sustainable usage of water is demonstrated by the Heron Pavilion. Water is the focal point of the Heron Pavilion that demonstrates the Lyle Center's focus of sustainable water use. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sienna Sisavath, and I have created an interactive puzzle titled Farm to Future that is modeled after an urban environment scaled to the height of children ages 12 and under. The purpose of this is to introduce the concept of using underutilized spaces in urban areas for agriculture, and I believe this is an important topic to teach children because our world is coming to the realization that current agricultural practices are just not sustainable. As more people populate the earth, the need for reliable and sustainable agriculture is vital to maintaining the planet we live on, especially for the younger generations that will soon have to take it over. Like a city, the puzzle has a lot of empty spaces such as rooftops, empty parking lots, balconies, and even empty rooms where children can find places to fit vegetation. It basically teaches them about all the nooks and crannies within an urban environment and how to use that space more efficiently. I hope the introduction of my topic will help children garner an appreciation as to how their food is grown and inspire them to help their communities. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Melissa? So this is a project by Melissa Montoya, Manzanita Phytoremediation and Phytoart. is transforming a degraded site into a vibrant hub for community connection, ecological restoration, and education. This is the location of the site, is just close by the ponds in the south part of the Light Center. And here's how through a system of terrace is creating a more dynamic ecosystem to support like microbiology, food, and trees to cleaning like the air. Here is the architecture drawings, the axonometric elevation, and the plan view. And this part of the model where we can see like the system of terrace, the amphitheater with the ecosystems on them. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Gottschalk, and I designed the Pollen Path, which is an immersive and educational experience designed to highlight the essential connections between Southern California's 3 major pollinators: bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. Using local materials such as reclaimed walnut wood and recycled aggregates, the pathway features a simple paver pattern that represents different pollinator habitats and food sources. Children are invited to learn through play, engaging all 5 senses as they follow the path, discovering how pollinators interact with native plants and the critical role they play in our ecosystems. The pollen path doesn't just teach, it serves as a living habitat, providing sanctuary for these pollinators while allowing researchers to study their behaviors and interactions within a designed environment. By combining education, habitat, and research, the path bridges the gap between the Lyle Center's mission and the community, offering a way to understand the connections between pollinator species. The Pollen Path inspires families to build their own pollinator garden while fostering curiosity and stewardship for future generations. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. First and foremost, thank you to everyone for joining us. I'm Javier Esquivel, and I'm excited to introduce my project titled the Social Hydrology Model. It's an interactive installation that has the ability to simulate rainfall and to manipulate runoff in a community through a series of controls. Having modeled the San Jose Hills as a functional watershed system, the installation includes 2 distinct neighborhoods and a linear park outfitted with bioswales. Equipped with auditory and visual cues, users are led through a journey and are prompted to engage with a tool that captures the complex nature of hydrological systems and how they interact with urban and natural infrastructures. Through the social hydrology model, an immersive experience is created where people can see the immediate impact of their decisions on the environment. Through this interactive model, participants can learn that they play an active, integral role in their ecosystems, demonstrating the tangible effects of urban planning and environmental stewardship. Thank you.
The project seen today embody the Lyle Center's core philosophy of regenerative design, where solutions actively restore and enhance ecological systems. Each proposal represents a holistic strategy that integrates technological innovation with ecological understanding to develop interpretive sculptural installations that enrich the public's experience and understanding of the local environment and natural processes. The student projects create opportunities to support youth education on local wildlife, biodiversity, and conservation. The Lyle Center is a testament that design can be a powerful catalyst for systematic change. These projects demonstrate our commitment to developing solutions that push forward a better relationship with the natural world, transforming challenges into opportunities for ecosystem renewal. The relationship between the environment, society, and economy must change. Accessible education is fundamental to this change. The work of our students represents a commitment to creating public space that allow for ecological discovery. We humbly extend an invitation to Pando Days to help us realize one of the student design proposals to complement the ongoing renovations of the Lyle Center for Regenerative Studies. And on behalf of the Cal Poly Pomona team, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you all so much. That was extremely exciting to me. I love so much about this. I love the starting off with the spider in the cage. That that kind of inversion of relationships there was really fascinating. I'm going to have to get my hand on Lupin and the Magic Forest. I think that it sounds like it's undoubtedly going to be great. Heron Pavilion, the pollen path, social hydrology model, and on and on and on. Those are just a few that I jotted down that are things where I thought I certainly wanted to hear more. And I love how all of this is coming together there at the Lyle Center. I'd love to see where this could go. Now let's hear from our panel. We have 20 or 30 minutes for an informal back and forth discussion about the project, how to assess it, and where in fact it can go. With us today are two dear friends of mine and of the Pando community, Adam Ewens and Mark Spears. Adam helped us in the early years get Pando Days defined as a program and off the ground. He is author of the book False Flat, Why Dutch Design is So Good, and that probably gives you a sense of his nationality. He's a principal in the design studio Counterforce Lab. Joining is Mark Spears, retired from a long career at Disney, where he was CSO, Chief Sustainability Officer. He too has played a big role in nurturing Pando projects in the community since the early days, including in the founding of the CSO task force for Los Angeles County. He's involved in lots of different projects, including at USC, where he helps guide young entrepreneurs realize their visions. Mark and Adam, thank you so much for your time and your insights. Let's start in. Which of you wants to go first?
Eugene, I'll start.
Okay.
First of all, I just want to extend congratulations to all of you and maybe Professor Garcia for bringing this together. Each of the projects in and of itself seems extraordinarily impactful, and the integration of these projects, it seems like, offer infinite possibility. One of the things, I guess one of the thoughts, there were a couple of tenets that came out. There are a couple of common threads, which include communication, education, and influence in the opportunity that exists with these projects. Curious how you think about introducing this to your target audience of young people, and how you provide that education so when they experience these various elements, the sort of nuances and impacts are obvious and sort of left behind with them. And I understand that's an overarching sort of question, and I'm not sure it drills down into each of the individual projects, but the impact of this has such great potential. It seems like the opportunity here is to start with why. Why we're so technologically oriented these days. We've lost sort of touch with the fact that we live in a natural environment, which is critical to preserve, if not remediate. And I'm just part of the question is starting off with an impact of how do we present that to that young audience so that they understand the importance of each of the experiences they have an opportunity to undertake.
Anyone want to respond?
I have something to add about that. I feel like a majority of all of our projects did our best to involve as many of the five senses as possible, especially at such a young age. It is critical for the adolescent mind to be able to make these connections physically. For example, a few of us used whether it would be a game or, for example, like in Mika's project, you would have the oars that are shovels. And for mine, I engaged smell and touch. And it's just really important that we use those senses in order to make these physical connections so we could connect that to our memory.
And are there existing programs that already engage this target audience within the university and within the Lyle Center, or is that something that would be created as an outcome of potentially created as an outcome of this overall project?
To my knowledge, I think they actually do community programs already. I think with the renovations, they're looking to expand that. So that's why this is such a great opportunity, project-wise, just putting these ideas out there of what could be. As it exists, I believe that they do things like community harvest days and bring informational groups to kind of just play around and like learn by interacting.
And just to kind of add to that, if I could, we're really looking to collaborate with elementary schools as well to facilitate field trips. And through these projects, whether that be through the whimsical or the interactive, we're really looking to capture the attention of young minds in a time where education is being critically defunded, and in a time where there's so much maybe lack of, but also misinformation about our environment and the impact that we have on it. So we're hoping that by getting some of these projects in and collaborating with the youth and also other schools, that we can leave a strong impact on them.
Clearly, the
Adam?
opportunity is there. Why don't I jump in? Yeah, I was going to suggest Adam jump in here.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah, wonderful project. I know the site. I was there 5 years ago, and I remember it being kind of underutilized or not really being part of the campus. So yeah, I always in these projects, like for instance, with my wife, who's a professor at UCLA, and did a project like this with goal number 5 of the sustainability plan of biodiversity. I'm a bird geek, and she wasn't. But until I started pointing out, the little stories that take place around you at all times, like, okay, it's nesting season. That's why they have a twig in their mouth. That's a little one because it's going with its wings like that. And this woke up this whole dimension of nature for her. Suddenly, she was surrounded by stories. And I think, the projects that immediately resonate with me, like the pollen path or the butterfly garden, there's an emotional connection that gets created there. And I think that's the most important thing to have a connection with what surrounds us. So and then, yeah, the experiential path of how to create soil, that's beautiful. Getting to know those processes. I'd also, in the gardens there, have people walk and pick berries so that they learn that that's where, juice comes from. But yeah, this has such great potential because at the time we even considered the Lyle complex as a place where we could present Pando days, have like the Pando days fair go on, or even have like retreats there at the spaces that people can live in. I don't know if students live there now or it's more like it should be a place where students live and tend to the gardens as part of their studies. It makes so much sense. So I'm truly curious what the revitalization is for the complex and how you would see this project develop further. These are all nice concepts, but how to get these to be built? That what are next steps that you see there?
So the Lyle Center is currently undergoing massive renovations, and we're looking to have people moving into the facilities circa, I want to say, within like a year or two. I believe that was the last that I heard from the meeting. And then there's also a lot of really exciting things happening with the curriculum. The Masters for Regenerative Studies program is looking to extend the center to more majors and make it more of like an interdisciplinary kind of space. And I think that interdisciplinary kind of aspect to it will open up the avenue to so many more kinds of people and so many other kinds of collaboration between communities.
Mark,
Uh,
would oh,
I was just gonna,
sorry, Mark,
I was
you have
just gonna
something? Yeah.
ask, maybe just sort of continuing on the theme of integration, because again, I think each of these projects is so impactful in and of itself, but I think this is one of those scenarios where 1+1=3. If we're able to figure out a way to integrate these into that broader storytelling on biodiversity, regenerative agriculture, and just being aware of the impact you have on your surroundings. Has there been any benchmarking to consider how this is going to be presented in toto, either to the university to sell the build out or to present to the community or these field trips in terms of how to think of these as components of an integrated system? Because that to me is where it seems like the greatest impact is and where the story is, or, at least the umbrella story by which each of your projects could be communicated.
Yeah, I had the same thought that I kind of missed like an overall program to place this within, or like a master plan.
Great points. What is the thinking there at the school relative to this kind of overarching integrative approach or principle? Anyone?
And if not, maybe that's part of the discussion that ensues between now, and the next couple months. Because the other thought is, if you're trying to integrate this or attract the Pomona, Unified School District or others to use this as a living laboratory, there needs to be that sort of overall pitch that either integrates within their curricula or sort of opens up and creates that opportunity for sort of a new educational opportunity that maybe they don't have the capability, skills, or resources to offer, but you all are very uniquely positioned in that respect. I'd hate to see this stop, and I'd love to see this go on, but I think it needs that sort of overarching vision to sell it, and then you can easily dive down into each of your elements.
If I may, there are people working on the Lyle Center at the moment who have come as guest speakers, and a lot of students who I see here have gone to those meetings. So they are actively taking the time to hear about students' feedback, especially those who want to pursue regenerative studies. So there is some kind of effort to have student voices. The project we've worked on now is actually the first, I believe, for the Lyle Center. Is that correct, Lorena? So yeah, that you have brought up a good point where we should all try to talk to one another, but there is an effort that the designers are reaching out to students currently, and a lot of us have gone to those meetings to offer feedback. But thank you for that note.
I kind of want to address some like the things that we've been talking about. Lyle was a landscape architect, and this was kind of his big idea coming to fruition. And he really, I think he had really special qualities about him where he was really able to rally and unify a collective to be able to come together and realize this vision. And I think, unfortunately, since his passing, we've kind of lost a little bit of that unified vision. And what's happening right now is the, I guess, discussion of how can we bring this full circle? How can we revitalize this through a series of ideas or a master plan? And this was the first initial attempt at doing that. And I'm so happy that you guys have been here to experience this with us.
Let me just emphasize, you're not students, right? You're lifelong learners and leaders, right? You're the leaders of the future. So this isn't about being a student and putting together a project. This is, to me, it's a much bigger vision that's really exciting. And to me, it's ultimately it comes down to integrating the storytelling with the components in a way that excites people, shows them the potential. And you all aren't jaded by 40 years of corporate, work, right? Like you see infinite possibility. And I want to encourage that because it just seems like it's so exciting in terms of what the potential is that you have. And I just hate to see you sort of stuck in that existing framework where Javier, as you've said, maybe some of that initial vision is sort of dimming a bit and it needs to be regenerated, at this point and sort of live on at a higher level.
Also, Mark, only for add like one thing is we have open exhibition last Thursday in campus, and we invite, of course, all of the department and the college. We received the visit of the dean and the assistant dean, and they were really like happy with the project. That they really enjoy it. In the exhibition, we have like a big like analog physical topographic model of the site. Have all of the projects situated on located in the exact points, so you can see like the whole vision, how like the different projects were located in different parts of the light center. So we were always trying to do like physical things, work with our hands, and connecting also in that sense with kids.
Well, and honestly, to me, this is a business development opportunity for the university, because at the end of the day, it isn't one of the bases of Cal Poly Pomona an agricultural sort of oriented school in today's parlance, more nature and natural. And at the end of the day, you're developing a pipeline for future students, for future, charitable contributions and things like that. It just seems like it's such an opportunity. That the university should see this as a much bigger thing than a series of student projects that are nicely and neatly sort of, packaged in that little property.
I'd like to also add, during our site analysis and research, I looked at some of the previous weather data from around the time that this center was coming to fruition, and I came to realize that they were dealing with solving an entirely different set of issues back then than we're facing today. I think that also has to do with kind of the disjunction we're seeing. Like, for example, our precipitation rates have drastically decreased since the 80s, like drastically. If you look at the data, it's precipitation just straight like plummets. And I think part of the challenge also is identifying what these new issues are and how, utilizing the regenerative studies program, how can we come up with innovative solutions to address the new issues that we're facing today?
To that point, Adam, how should they think about integration of these concepts from a design perspective?
That's a great question. I think it fundamentally comes back to the interdisciplinary nature of regenerative studies and also design. It's really difficult to answer that question just as a designer without the input of the engineers, the biologists, and everybody that has a huge stake at getting this idea to come together. It's like a really warped three-dimensional puzzle piece. So I think that collaboration is essential, and I think that opening that avenue for communication is one of the first steps that they've been engaging in.
Adam?
I think I only noticed it as the last sentence, but perhaps it needs to be the first sentence. That is that you created a public space for ecological discovery, and I didn't get that in the first paragraph, which would have framed it as that bigger plan, the master plan, the bigger pursuits. So that's just as in presentation, lead with the main main kind of pursuit rather than as your conclusion, or have it both.
Are there, Adam, are there, given the superiority of Dutch design, is sort of the 15-minute city a possible sort of model for how we think about these components?
I don't know what the 15-minute city is. I'm curious.
Well, okay, that's essentially you know, a future view that cities should all, every component of your life should be within a 15-minute walk of where you live, so that you're reducing the dependency on transportation, on infrastructure, and you're really focusing on a very interactive, kinetic sort of living environment.
Yeah.
I mean, I think on campus it takes you 15 minutes to get to the Lyle complex, right? It's
the park, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that we're addressing in our schematic design phase. We didn't get to see too many of the schematic design projects that encompass more of like the overall master plan that we all came up with, but a lot of the projects address the disconnection between the main campus life and the Lyle Center, and how we can create nature corridors to bring visibility to it, embedded throughout the entire campus. Additionally, I mean, yeah, in terms of the 15-minute city, we have the Cal Poly Pomona farm store that's just right down the hill. I don't know if you guys got the chance to stop by there. It's right past the dragon fruit farm. No picking though. You have to go down to the farm to get one.
Noted.
Do you still have the farmers market and the food bank?
I'm not too sure. I have heard of a farmers market happening there. I don't know how often it is. I do know that there was one this last month though.
I was, Mark, it made me think about your background, entrepreneurial activities and all, kind of how you, and also you, Adam, because you've gotten some new projects off the ground, and how you, if we were to sum up kind of what, how to bring about next steps and how to turn this into a project that could live in the real world. I'm hearing kind of, or hearing and adding to the discussion in two ways. One, thinking that that overall overarching vision and plan would be essential. This is the big idea that we have for this. And then second with that is to probably decide to lift up one or two of these specific ideas. I think all of which are terrific, and any of which could get implemented. You could see it. But you could see if there were the big idea, you could pick out one or two, let's say one for fun, that actually could be implemented pretty simply. And so that people then would not only have the big idea in front of them, they would also have one very specific, very concrete opportunity to see it, you know, realized in some kind of hands-on way. You'd pick the project, the specific project that would be probably easiest to do, well as most impactful, and go ahead and try to get something like that launched. I think something on the ground coupled with a big vision could actually be very powerful, and you could see that working. But Mark or Adam or anyone else who'd want to comment on that.
I mean, one thought there, just so that you stay away from the notion if they build it, you know, they will come kind of concept is, you know, the question ultimately comes down to what problems are we trying to solve for? And to the extent you want to attract that support, I think it's understanding what are the issues on campus, what are the issues in the community, and then aligning the various elements or maybe the totality of the effort as solutions to those, you know, problems. If it's education, if it's employment, if it's, you know, I don't know if Pomona, as an example, just picking or the school has a sustainability plan with targets and a need for solutions to deliver against those targets. But it just seems like going back to collaboration and sort of stakeholder engagement, you know, what are the issues out there and how does this help bring, you know, forth solutions to those issues that you would then find support, you know, whether it be financial or physical or editorial support.
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing is that the Lyle Center already exists. It's the vision has been and it just needs to be revitalized. And I think every single project that we were shown here in 30-second bumps is develop them further, and you could even then start finding sponsors per project and try to realize them that way. So yeah, and one other thing I'd like to emphasize a little bit more is the interspecies relationships or friendships. Just allow for this place to be a place to fall in love with nature.
Wonderful concept. Also, it makes me think that that there's a whole additional aspect to the work that's been done here, is that there's the potential then for even other locations to look at this and to borrow ideas, for what they're doing on their campuses or various places, because there's a plethora of ideas, really interesting. I wish we'd have time to dive into any one of them.
It begs for a traveling roadshow, is what it begs, right? Because not everybody's going to be able to come to the Lyle Center initially, but you want the tease out there as to what's beyond the berm, so to speak.
That's right. And
So
also sorry. Oh, Lynn, sorry. I hear you.
Before you're done, I'd like to add something. First of all, I think these are great projects. I'm really impressed. I was impressed at the first tease I got of what it would be. And I really think you have a unique opportunity because of the Lyle Center is currently is going through a development or renovation. The fact that that you can incorporate student voices, student ideas in the planning and shaping of what it could be, I think, is a unique situation that you have. And I hope that I hope that the university understands the power of your ideas and the importance of the collaboration with students.
Wonderful point, Lynn. And it goes to where this is a portrait we've gotten this morning of a community of change makers. And to your point, Mark, it's more than students, but it's students as change makers and learning how then to work at this intersection of education and the community to create the future. So I hate to be a showstopper, but it's time to wrap this up. Thank you all so much, Mark, Adam, for your comments, questions, and insights. The Cal Poly team, I'm now more eager than ever to get over to the Lyles Center and check it out. Our next premier event is tomorrow, 10:15 and 11:15. Two projects, complete in and of themselves, separate projects back to back from CSU Long Beach. The two projects that are premiering both use augmented reality to explore the urban ocean interface, but they do it in very different ways. Fascinating stuff. Don't miss. Thank you again. Thank you for joining and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Lorena, so that little bit right there gave us long enough to be good for the recording. Thank you so much for this. It's really fascinating to have heard all of this. Really a lot of interesting projects.